Jaws and claws. In the cold Atlantic waters off Spain and Portugal, something strange and terrifying is happening. Pods of orcas, killer whales, are attacking boats over and over. Over 600 incidents since 2020. Yachts, catamarans, sailboats, rammed, spun, and disabled. The attacks are coordinated, intentional. Over 600 attacks and growing. Why? Scientists have many theories, but one answer, when you really dig deeper, stands out. Their gyrified brains. We'll have more on that in a minute, but suffice it to say their incredible brains may hold the real key. Because these aren't just intelligent animals. These are emotional, social, self-aware beings, possibly remembering, possibly plotting, and possibly getting revenge. But let's not jump the gun. Let me show you what we've uncovered, because this goes far deeper than anyone expected and shares some other possible theories as well. It began off the coast of the Strait of Gibraltar in May 2020. A sailboat was intercepted by a group of orcas. They didn't circle aimlessly, they went straight for the rudder. They struck with precision until the boat was unsteerable. Then they vanished. At first, marine biologists thought it was play behavior. A few curious juveniles may be just fooling around. But then the pattern spread. The number of attacks exploded. Boats all along the Iberian coast were being sabotaged. Some were sunk, and all of them shared one detail. The orcas always targeted the rudder, like they knew what they were doing. Why the rudder? Why the boats? Why now? Among the orcas involved in these attacks, one name keeps surfacing: White Gladis. But let's clear something up, because most media get this part wrong. White Gladis is not the matriarchal leader of the group. In fact, the name Gladis isn't even unique to her. It's a designation used by scientists to identify Iberian orcas that have had contact with vessels during these encounters. The term Gladis is a reference to the orca's older scientific name, Orca gladiator, which means whale fighter in Latin. And it's fitting. As of 2023, 15 individual orcas have been given the name Gladis after being observed interacting with ships, particularly in ways involving rudder targeting or repeated approach behavior. So while commonly called White Gladis, her real name is more accurately Gladis Blanca, and she might have played a significant role early on. She's not a lone wolf or queen bee. She's part of a larger, more complex social phenomenon, shaped by interactions between generations, between pods, and perhaps between trauma and learning. This isn't just one angry orca. This is a community, responding, teaching, and possibly remembering. You see, the orca brain's unlike almost any other on Earth. It is the most gyrified in nature. In terms of gyrification, that's the degree of folds and wrinkles in the brain. They surpass even humans. The gyrencephaly index for a killer whale is 5.7, a dolphin 4.6, and humans only come in at 2.5. The more folds, the more surface area. The more surface area, the more neural connections. The more neural connections, the more cognitive horsepower. But this isn't just about IQ, it's about emotion. Orcas have evolved with a limbic system, the emotional center of the brain that is more expansive and integrated with their cortex than nearly any other species. This unique configuration suggests they not only feel emotions, they reflect on them. That's the difference. And we're not talking about basic fear or joy. We're talking about complex states, grief, empathy, loyalty, and possibly vengeance. These animals live in matriarchal family units for decades. They remember voices, they remember faces. In captivity, they've demonstrated long-term memory and social bonds that mirror human depth. A mother orca will carry a dead calf for days, even weeks, in open mourning. In the wild, individuals separated by years have been observed recognizing each other's vocalizations and reuniting. So now, imagine a traumatic event. An orca entangled, wounded, or worse, experiencing panic, pain, perhaps loss. This isn't just processed as danger, it's processed as injustice. And if that's true, then what follows isn't instinctual lashing out. It's calculated retaliation, driven by a brain evolved not only for survival, but for memory, connection, and the emotional weight of trauma. What if White Gladis didn't just lash out randomly? What if her trauma became a lesson, a signal, a call to arms? Revenge might sound like a human concept, but are we so sure it's uniquely ours? We've seen elephants destroy villages where their herds were culled. We've seen dolphins kill for sport after captivity. We've seen great apes, chimpanzees, and bonobos coordinate punishment for betrayal. Now imagine a predator as intelligent as an orca. Imagine a mind that not only remembers the boat that hurt it, but decides no boat like it should ever sail again. It sounds like science fiction, but is it? Now, not every scientist agrees. Many marine biologists suggest more grounded possibilities, each with some merit. Some believe it's play behavior, a social fad among young orcas. Orcas, like humans, are known for cultural fads. In one case, a pod was observed carrying dead salmon like hats for no apparent reason, a trend that spread for months and then vanished. The rudder attacks, they say, might be the same. Destructive curiosity turned viral among juveniles. Others propose obsessive behavior, similar to zoo animals pacing. These orcas, living in human-dominated waters, could be stressed by noise pollution, depleted fish stocks, and shipping traffic. Striking a boat might be a repetitive outlet, a release for frustration. Another theory points to resource scarcity. The Iberian orcas rely heavily on bluefin tuna, an increasingly rare catch due to overfishing. Starving or stressed, the orcas might associate boats with competition or harm. The attacks, then, could be displacement behavior, anger without a clear target. And some suggest it's simply mistaken identity, that orcas confuse rudders for injured prey. But this theory weakens when we observe their surgical targeting of the rudder, always the rudder, never the hull or mast or sail. The truth? Each theory might hold a piece of the puzzle, but only one fits all the contours of the behavior, its intentionality, its specificity, and its expansion. And that theory is that these whales are remembering, feeling, reacting together. Orcas have culture, not metaphorically, literally. Different pods have different hunting techniques, vocal dialects, and parenting styles. These aren't genetic, they're taught. In the Pacific, some orcas use waves to wash seals off ice. In New Zealand, others herd stingrays into tight balls. In South Africa, they even hunt the great white shark. These strategies aren't instinctual, they're learned and passed down. Now, Iberian orcas are teaching their young how to disable boats. Not just observing, not just copying, teaching. That's culture, that's memory, that's transmission, and it's spreading fast. Let's return to their brains. The regions responsible for emotion, social bonding, and memory are deeply connected in orcas. When they lose a calf, mothers have been observed carrying the body for days, sometimes weeks. Not for any practical reason, but seemingly out of grief. They don't forget. Their ability to associate experience with meaning is well documented. If a traumatic encounter is burned into memory, especially one involving noise, injury, or a vessel, it's not hard to imagine that memory being reinforced through storytelling. A wounded orca might be a victim once, but a teacher forever. Since 2020, over 600 attacks, most focused, most successful, and each time the behavior becomes more refined. Video footage shows orcas sinking boats, breaking rudders with synchronized strikes, in some cases working in groups to herd the vessel before attacking. This isn't just random, this is strategy. So we must ask, where is this headed? If orcas can teach one another to take down sailboats, what else might they learn? We may not be watching a series of isolated attacks. We may be witnessing the birth of a new cultural behavior, a coordinated intergenerational movement sparked by trauma, sustained by memory, powered by emotion. Here's what the science shows. Orcas have brains designed for complex emotion. They possess powerful social memory. They teach each other behaviors, both useful and symbolic, and they respond, sometimes aggressively, to perceived threats. So, is this revenge? A message? A warning? Maybe. Or maybe it's something we haven't even defined yet. The truth is, we're only beginning to understand how intelligent and emotionally rich these animals truly are, and that realization should give us pause. Because if we're facing a species smart enough to feel, it may be smart enough to fight back. So next time you see footage of orcas circling a sailboat, don't just see predators. See minds, see memory, see trauma, and possibly see justice carried out in the deep. Is White Gladis a victim, a vigilante, or a teacher? And are we seeing the start of a rebellion or the echoes of a scream we ignored? Let us know what you think in the comments. Is this just animal behavior, or is it something more? Click here to watch our next episode, where we explore more fascinating areas of nature and animal interactions here on Jaws and Claws. Because one thing's for sure, the ocean is watching, and maybe, just maybe, it's remembering.